All right, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Now, over the weekend, Ilia Topuria put on an absolute clinic against Josh Emmett, and as you may know, his nickname is the Matador, and there were multiple times throughout this fight, basically throughout the entirety of the fight, where he was in fact embodying his own nickname, okay, and was being a real-life Matador. Now, unlike most Matadors who face off against bulls, he was facing off a species of another kind, right? The Falmer, which in many cases can be much more dangerous. Now, there are quite a few similarities, but we are going to look at a few moments in which he was going full on Matador against Josh the Falmer Emmett and how he was able to beat him to a pulp. There's also a couple moments where I'm going to go over that. If you watched my picks video, you will have heard me talk about how Ilia Topuria got knocked down by a head kick against Jai Herbert, and it was due to the fact that he extends his combinations a little too long. He wouldn't get his right hand back to where it needed to be, and he seemingly has fixed that issue. We're going to take a look at that also. So before we get into it, like and sub if you enjoy the video, whatever, don't matter. Let's get right into it. We're going to start off here at 2 minutes 17 seconds on the clock, and here Ilia Topuria gets out of the way of most of the offerings coming from the Falmer, that is Josh Emmett, by using footwork and also not neglecting his fundamental boxing defense. So here we see Josh Emmett leap forward with a big left hand. Ilia immediately starts to back up, curls in his body so the body shot doesn't have as much impact on it. Emmett tries to go for more. Right hand over the top, wings and a miss. Huge miss from the Falmer there. As a matter of fact, the Matador was able to get out of the way. Now this time he was not able to stick him with anything of his own, but he is slowly wearing out and draining the gas tank of the Falmer. He's taking his stamina away so that later on he can do the damage that he wants to. We are now going to skip ahead to... All right, here we are, 107 on the clock. That's close enough. If you watched my picks, I already talked about this. Let's just get right into it. Sorry, I'm reading off of my notes. This is the moment, or one of the moments. I think that Josh Emmett actually made a really good read here. He probably watched some tape, or at least his coaches would have, on Ilia Topuria. And if you watched the moment in that Jai Herbert fight, Ilia Topuria lands a big right hand of his own, and landing that right hand, he wants to follow it up with a big left hook. And it used to be a problem. He would follow up the left hook, he'd bring his right hand back to his chest as opposed to bringing it up to his chin. He was wide open for the head kick. Jai Herbert tagged him beautifully. Now, credit to Topuria, he was able to survive and then come back and get a knockout of his own. But I truly think that Josh Emmett, or his team, saw this, made a read, thought it might be able to work, and credit to Ilia Topuria because he seems to have fixed this mistake. Right hand from Ilia Topuria, but instead of following it up, because that right hand didn't land, so there's no real reason to follow up, right back to the chin, which is perfect. And look what's on its way. You know what I mean? A head kick. Now, it seems that the toe may have scratched off the forehead, right? But that's because Ilia Topuria was able to get his hand up and block that kick. Whereas with Jai Herbert, he had nothing there and he ate that shit clean, okay? Because his hand was right where it is now at its chest. So very good adjustment, bad habit breaking, or whatever you want to call it, by Ilia Topuria. He seems to have fixed that issue, and we see that a couple times throughout this fight. We're going to skip ahead just 20 seconds now. 44 seconds on the clock. Now we see the Matador doing some Matador shit, okay? Big right hand from Josh Emmett over the top, misses. Sticks him with a right hand. At first, when I watched this in regular speed, I didn't think that this landed. It appeared to have bounced off the shoulder or kind of the bicep area of Josh Emmett, but that most certainly did get through, and it kind of tagged him behind the ear, which that was just beautiful, beautiful Matador work from Ilia Topuria, okay? I love to see it. We are going to watch that back one more time, actually, because it is so slick. Now, Josh Emmett throws a right hand there, which we didn't show at the first. Big right hand over the top. The way that he bounces back in and fires his counter shots, it really is like a Matador, man. Like, he's jumping out of the way and stabbing his opponent. It's amazing to watch. He's incredible. We're going to skip ahead now to a moment in round number 4. All right, here we are in round number 4, 4:34 on the clock. I didn't want to go through every round, otherwise this video would have been way too long. He does some full-on Matador shit here. Now, I will say, I'll preface, because some of these are hard to see whether or not it lands. However, it appears as though Most of them did not land, or at least nothing substantially did. And Josh Emmett even acknowledges Ilia Topuria's defense after this exchange ends. I'm going to move my camera, actually, because I have a feeling I might be in the way. We're going to watch this now at 4:34 on the clock. Let's go. Okay. Immediately, Josh Emmett's entries are almost the exact same every single time, but it's pretty predictable. And if you know what you're doing, it would be easy to get out of the way. Now, mind you, he's very explosive, and I'm sure it would be a lot different once you're in there in the cage with him. But keep in mind, this is round number 4. The Falmer is weak. He is tired. And Ilia Topuria, this was his best round of the fight, put on a absolute clinic. Nothing substantial lands. The Falmer flies right into the fence. Ilia Topuria walks away as if nothing happened. So it seems as though nothing substantial, nothing big landed. You see a little acknowledgement from Josh Emmett there, a little nod of the head, because the defense from Ilia Topuria was so good. We're going to watch that back one more time. Josh Emmett starts off left hand, right hand. That does not land. Left hand, right hand. That one looks like it might have grazed, but I really don't think so. And then he flies into the cage because he is a Falmer, and the Matador has just done some true Matador shit, okay? And then they come back to the center. Little nod of acknowledgement from Josh Emmett. We are going to skip ahead to 4:05 on the clock here. You see Topuria doing some more offensive Matadoring now that his opponent is weakened and tired. Stabs him with a beautiful jab, and right out of the way, nowhere to be found. Josh Emmett wings his whole body in that right hand and just goes flying, and Ilia Topuria is out of the way. Not even close. We're going to skip ahead now to 1:53 on the clock. Here we are, 1:53. All right. Ilia Topuria lands a good leg kick here. Right, low calf. Now, hold on. This is something that I saw people mention this in my comments, and I kind of noticed it myself. Ilia Topuria, that is, doesn't really seem to address leg kicks to him, right? Like when his opponent throwing leg kicks, his defense is lacking there. He didn't seemingly didn't check a single kick, or at least in any meaningful way. That will be a problem when he fights somebody like Alexander Volkanovski. I know Volkanovski's short. His body, however, is built in such a way that it's like deceivingly, it's deceiving. You know what I mean? Because you hear the guy's 5'6", 5'5", whatever the fuck he is. But and Dominic Cruz likes to say he's got T-Rex arms. Meanwhile, he's got a fucking bigger reach than Max Holloway, who's got like 6 or 7 inches or 5 or 6 inches on him in height. You know what I mean? And I think Volkanovski's got fairly long legs too. He's got a very condensed short torso with really broad shoulders, giving him that big reach. His legs are not short by any means, especially relative to his own height. Ilia Topuria, basically the same stature as Volkanovski. So every time you see Josh Emmett kick Ilia Topuria, right, in the legs, Volkanovski will be able to do it also. And not just that, Volkanovski uses leg kicks way more sophisticatedly. I don't even know if that's a fucking word, than Josh Emmett, okay? Sophisticatedly? Is that a word, dude? He uses them more sophistically? I don't fucking know. You know what I mean, though. Huh, dude? Okay, so he's going to have to address that if he is to face Volkanovski. Now, if it's against Max Holloway, it might not be as much of a problem. The power behind the leg kicks aren't necessarily there, and the volume certainly isn't there. So, regardless, we're going to watch what happens after this. I apologize for that tangent. Leg kick from Topuria. Sticks him with a jab. This is actually the knockdown. Now, this is not full-on Matador-ish, okay? But it is off of a counter. Josh Emmett... Oh... We're not at the knockdown yet. I apologize. Big right hand over the top. Look where his hand is, man. I love to see it. Very defensively responsible. Out of the way. And he lands that right hand. Fucking beautiful. I want to watch that back because I screwed it up. Because for some reason I thought that this was where the knockdown was. Alright, here we are. 1:53 on the clock. Ilia Topuria. Good low leg kick. Kind of swipes the leg out from underneath Emmett there. Then you see him stick him with a jab. Emmett tries to counter. Big right hand. Ducks completely underneath it. Left hand follows. Nowhere to be found. Lands on the shoulder. The hand was there anyways in case it did land. And he sticks him with a beautiful right hand. Again, when I watch this in normal speed, right, 1 times, I didn't think this landed. I thought that he missed that counter. He did not. Credit to Josh Emmett. Dude has a fucking hell of a chin. We are going to skip ahead now to 122. It'll probably be 120. Okay, that's fine. 124, dude. This is where the knockdown happens. Now, not full-on matadorish, but once again, look at the defense. Look at where his hand is. Look at the punch that actually lands that knocks Emmett down is a counter off of Emmett's counter, because now that the Falmer is tired, he's gone into offensive mode. Okay, so here we are. Ilia Topuria approach, sticks with a jab. Okay, Josh Emmett, then that right there kind of put Emmett in his seat a little bit. I think that's probably what initially rocked him, and then the follow-up shot is what put him down, but kind of his legs went out from under him a little bit there. And then you see Topuria try to throw a right hand, stabbing right hand, and off of Emmett's counter left hook, he lands his left hook faster because his left hooks are tighter, crisper, more technically sound. And look where his hand is. You know what I mean? Emmett's punch didn't even land, but it had it gone where it was intended to. Topuria's fist is there, and I love to see it because, again, that's how he got knocked down against Jai Herbert. Right hand, left hook, hand came to his chest. Now it's right hand, left hook, hand comes to his chin, and it's great shit. Okay, I love to see it. Love to see it from Ilia Topuria. We are going to look at a couple moments actually in round number 5 because I wanted to end on the high note of the knockdown. However, there were more moments because Emmett came out so strong in round 5. In those first 2 minutes, or 2.5 roughly, before they hit the mat, there were multiple moments where Ilia Topuria went full-on matador, and we're going to take a look at those right now. All right, here we are, 4:44 on the clock, round number 5. Okay, Emmett lands a big shot in the opening seconds, right? Cracks Topuria. Biggest shot Emmett's landed the entire fight. Now Topuria, which this actually shows me that he's got pretty good fight IQ, and he's got like a mode that he can switch on, okay? He's been extremely offensive while being defensive for 4 straight rounds. At this point, I think he only threw about 22 strikes in round number 4, or round number 5, pardon me, which means at this point, he had already thrown like 320 strikes, okay? And at this point also, so did Emmett. But the difference is, this is why he's the fucking matador, dude. Josh Emmett lands 87 of 305 strikes thrown in this entire fight at a 28% clip. Fucking brutal. Anyways, dude, let's watch this moment here. Okay, Ilia Topuria going full-on matador, because that's what he is, dude, okay? All right, big miss from Emmett. Topuria's right out of the way. It kind of reminds me of the way Billy Joe Saunders gets out of the way of his punches sometimes. Big left hook, parried with the correct fucking hand. How much do I love that rear hand parry? Even though he didn't really need to, it was going to the body anyways. Just gets out of the way, waiting for the Falmer to chase him down. We are now at 3:37 on the clock, which is where I want it to be, so that's perfect. Okay, some more full-on matador shit we get coming on here. Big right hand with nothing in front of it, okay? Sorry, not no tell. Nothing to hide the tell, which is just, it's Josh Emmett. Now, like, this performance was extremely impressive, and I don't want to take anything away from Ilia Topuria. Josh Emmett is not the striker that Yair Rodriguez, and Josh Emmett is not even close to the striker of Alexander Volkanovski. So, while this performance is unbelievably impressive, and it definitely, in my opinion, kind of puts him in the top 4 of that division, and yes, I'm leaving out fucking Brian Ortega. Okay, there's the 4 horsemen of the featherweights: Volkanovski, Holloway, Yair, and Ilia Topuria. I think these guys are the best 4 in this division, but Josh Emmett wings the Falmer once again. We're going to skip ahead 10 seconds, 4:25 on the clock. Okay, massive miss here from Emmett. Right, oh, dude, his distance management is unbelievable. And you know what? Had he been a little bit more fresh, he possibly could have stabbed in a right hand there of his own, because the opening was absolutely there, 100%. Okay, so now we're gonna skip ahead to 3:26 on the clock, which is not gonna work out. We're gonna go 3:27. That will work. Okay, we got a beautiful slip from Ilia Topuria right here. Josh Emmett wings a left hook. Look at that, man. Just out of the way. And that's not like, oh, fuck, I just got out of the way. That's, I want to be just out of the way. He's doing that intentionally. He's not putting himself further out than he needs to be. He is exactly where he needs to be. That punch completely misses, goes over the shoulder. Just beautiful stuff from Ilia Topuria, the real life fucking matador, okay? Now, we'll summarize real quickly. Ilia Topuria, brilliant defense, brilliant footwork, fundamental boxing defense has gotten much better. He gets his right hand at his chin where it needs to be. This was one of the best, most recent performances I've seen. Now, he did not dispatch of Josh Emmett the way that Yair Rodriguez did, but Yair Rodriguez is a whole different animal, and it will be very interesting to see how Ilia Topuria matches up against these guys moving forward, especially the champion, if he makes it there. Due to their size and frame, it will be a very close competitive, like they'll be in close quarters because they'll have to be. You know what I mean? Whereas Yair Rodriguez is tons of lateral movement, big kicks, no real rhythm, no real, like, there. You could watch tape on Yair Rodriguez, and it would be very tricky to find like a pattern in what he does. I'm sure there's a method to his madness, but it's very hard to point out. Regardless, amazing stuff from Ilia Topuria, the real life fucking matador. Like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye.